Okay, welcome back. In this video, we're going to mark the engine mounts here as to where to drill the holes to mount the engine. So you need the two engine mounts, and if you put them together, they are adjustable. However, there's a limit to that adjustment. Okay, so you put them together and they're nice and tight like that, okay, and they're all tight together. The Thunder Tiger 28 doesn't quite fit. Okay, so the Thunder Tiger 28 is I've already assembled it in the sense that it came without the glow plug in it, and it came without the needle valve in it. So I put the needle valve in. Before you put the needle valve in, you have to put on this little wire thing here that allows it to click. So I put that in and backed it out. I think 2.5 turns was, I think, the recommendation for the number of turns to start with. And make sure of that. Yeah, pre-adjust to 2.5 to 3 turns. I use 2.5. Sounds like a lot, but you never know. So you put that on first, then put this needle valve in, and it's good to go. So now what you have to do is take this apart enough, open it up, like that, okay? And the engine has a flat spot right under here. So where the two screws go there, right under there's a flat spot. So that flat spot needs to sit tightly on the engine mount. I'm going to put the engine on and decide about where I want the engine to, how far the engine should be away from the engine, from the firewall, and just sort of close that together. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. Plus or minus a little bit on the how far out it should be. So that's good and tight. And you can see by the little cracks right there that it's about an extra 1/8 inch wider than it otherwise would have been. Okay, the other thing I noticed is, so I'm going to drop in, get your 4 bolts with a washer and a lock washer on them, and I'm going to drop one in on the bottom first. And the other thing I noticed when I was practicing this, I always practice things, is that the limit of how wide that can be is in fact this little triangular piece of balsa here that is gluing the side of the fuselage up to the firewall there. So there's a little triangular piece on each side, and fortunately it just fits. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is run the 2 pieces of fuel tubing up and out of the way here. Alright, come on, fuel tubing up and out of the way. Okay. And keeping the engine there and together, I'm going to mount the 4 screws. Tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a flat blade screwdriver and start the 2 screws on the bottom. because the two screws on the bottom are easily accessible underneath the engine. That's just going to be loose, and but it'll hold it on enough. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and put all four screws, start all four screws. Not tighten them at all. Remember, we're going to take this back out. I'm not worried about thread lock yet. And I'm going to take this back out and drill the holes after I mark them. So the purpose in doing this is just to mark where they're going to go. If you haven't already, before I did this, I actually tested to make sure all four screws worked well, and they did, except for this one here. They use hot melt glue to glue in the blind nuts, and so some hot melt glue was preventing it from getting all the way in, so I cleaned that out a little bit. All right, so now that looks good. I'm going to hold these two pieces of fuel tubing out of the way. And here we go. All right, so we're going to put the engine on and down. All right. All right, now that that engine is on and down, and I want to move it forward probably just a little bit. Not too far forward, but it's sort of right in the middle of the there we go. Okay, so I can look here and they're down flat all the way. I'm going to tighten the upper. I guess I'll tighten those lower ones first. They're going to tighten and hold it. Yep, good spot. Now, I'm not tightening it all the way down, I'm just doing a finger tight here. And finger tight it. These on the top just a little bit. Move the fuel tubing out of the way and tighten the other one. Okay, it is kind of nice that you can tighten these with the engine in place. Now they're not tight, they're just sort of finger tight, lightly tight, and that is, make sure, yep, down and in place well. Okay, so now to mark them, I'm going to use this. Okay, this is a center drill bit. Okay, got a little spring here. You hold this and you push it out, and out pops a little drill. Okay, and this little cone here, make sure it stays centered wherever that is. So I'm going to hold that down like that, and try to hold it nice and straight, and then just twist this, and it'll actually start eating into the engine mount. Okay. Okay, so that marks it. And in the next video, I'm going to take all this off now, off camera. And in the next video, we'll take these one at a time and put them in a vise because I prefer to drill as straight as I can and hold it with a vise. So they're well marked, and thank you for watching. See you on the next video on how to drill it.